You know, I haven't been sleeping in the past couple of days, and it's because of a stinking television show. The series finale of Life on Mars was on the other night, and I watched it with great interest. What is life on Mars, you say? You know, good question. Absolutely no one I know watched the series this year. It was a new series on ABC based on a series that was done on the BBC some years ago. It stars a guy by the name of Jason O'Mara as a 2008 detective from New York. And he was in the middle of a big case, and he got hit by a car, and the next thing you know, he woke up in New York in 1973. Now, people knew who he was back then, but he had no idea what was going on, and he wandered into the precinct that he worked at, and there he was expected, you just transferred in, and I mean, it was really weird. Okay, I mean, the whole premise sounds silly, but I gotta tell you, it grew on me in the very first episode because, well, all of a sudden the show was based in 1973. And in 1973, I was 22 years old, and I could relate to a lot of what was going on because, number one, they did an excellent job of reproducing 1973 right there in New York. And the other thing they did a rather excellent, in my opinion, job of was writing the show and putting this guy's perplexing problems out there. And he, kept trying to figure out how to go back home, the interaction between the other characters, him adjusting to life in 1973, the relationships he developed with his co-workers and with the woman that lived in the same apartment as he did, 2 doors down. I mean, everything was bizarre. Now, sometimes you'd see weird stuff that you couldn't quite figure out. He would get little things that would pop in from 2008, to show him, and it was kind of weird. But the stories were like really good. And then they came up, as the show developed through some of the episodes, it came to where he was actually accepting where he was living. He was accepting it just wonderfully. And then by episode 17, okay, it was entitled Life is a Rock, and that was the series finale. And it was written beautifully. I mean, it was just incredible up until the last 5 minutes. But there was an actor on the show, his name is Michael Imperiale. Listen, if you will, to this exchange towards the end of the episode where his character discusses his philosophy on life.
Goes like this, spaceman. We live on a rock. There ain't no rhyme, there ain't no reason. We live on a rock, just one of many, hurtling around in some big cosmic jambalaya. Now, you want to get questiony, that's your prerogative.
Ray,
not now. My ma took me to a big loud church every Sunday. She squeezed her eyes shut, she pressed the rosary beads to her lips, and she prayed for good things for those she loved. But cancer took 2 of her sisters. Her husband couldn't make a move without a belly full of gin. Her youngest son turned to a life of crime. And her oldest, me, is a nasty son of a bitch who can't get out of third gear without a snarl. So, who was she talking to every Sunday, and why wasn't he answering? I will tell you why. Because we live on a rock, just one of many. There ain't no answers. There's just this. And all you can really hope to do is find a couple of people who will make the 70 or 80-odd years we get to live on this sweet swinging sphere remotely tolerable.
And there towards the end, the writing is just absolutely excellent. You wonder how the story's going to end. You wonder how the series is going to end. And then all of a sudden there's a phone call, and things go, well, kind of the way you want them to go. He lets the caller on the other end of the phone, a gentleman who had talked to him at different times during the series, giving him hints about how to get home, and he tells him he doesn't want to go home. And then, just when you think that the writing is getting even more exceptional, the show takes a very strange and bizarre turn. A bizarre turn that has kept me awake now for the past couple of nights. A bizarre turn that is really making me mad and, making other people mad too. I'm sure if anyone else besides me watched the series. If you did, let me know. For Ernesto Durango, I'm Michael Crose.